Neighbor says child is living in abandoned house. Then cop pulls back sheet. When officers Paulo and Resnick responded to a call about squatters in an abandoned house, they braced for a tough day at work. People in dire situations can often be confrontational. What they weren't expecting to find was an opportunity to show kindness and compassion, which in turn catapulted them into the limelight. Vincenzo Paulo and Dan Resnick are police officers in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. On a cold morning of October last year, they were called to a house near 29th and Locust. The house was abandoned and a neighbor had called in to report people living inside it, suspecting they were squatters. The house was falling apart. After Paulo and Resnick arrived at the location, they got a glimpse of the derelict conditions the residence was in. The entrances were shuttered from the outside. There were broken windows and piles of clothes and garbage on the porch. Their hearts sank when they saw a pregnant young woman step out to meet them. The woman led them inside, where they realized this house was truly unsuitable for anyone to live in, much less a person in her condition. There was no electricity, no heat, and no plumbing. Due to the broken windows, there was a cold draft running all around the house. Inside there was even more rubbish, clothes, and mattresses sprawled all over. The officers spoke to the woman. She told them she'd lost her job and had moved into that house because she had nowhere else to go. Paulo continued interviewing the woman while Resnick walked from room to room, surveying the conditions. In one of the bedrooms, he saw a mattress almost entirely covered in sheets. He approached and pulled up one of the sheets. Then he realized there was someone there. In between the sheets was a 2-year-old boy sleeping. He was wearing 3 winter jackets, though Resnick suspected that was not enough to keep out the October cold in Milwaukee. He brought the boy out to the main room and handed him over to Paulo while he asked the mother some questions. Paulo realized the boy needed some warmth. Getting him warm and fed. Paulo took the boy out to a squad car where he could warm him up. On his way out of the house, he looked for some food, but all he could find was a bag of chips. He sat inside the car with the toddler on his lap and gave him the chips. He then realized the boy couldn't eat them. The layers of the jacket made the child's arms really thick, and he couldn't fit his hand into the bag. So the officer took it and fed the boy chips himself. They were gone in a flash. So Paulo called another officer and told him to go to the nearest McDonald's and buy some chicken nuggets and fries. It made the child very happy. Resnick came outside to find Paulo sitting on the driver's seat with the boy on his lap eating his chicken nuggets. He was very hungry, said Paulo in a news conference. He scarfed it down. He really liked the fries, added Resnick. Looking at the heartwarming scene, Resnick decided to snap a photo of his partner and the toddler. Though it wasn't his intention, the picture would soon make headlines. Resnick sent the photo to Officer Paulo's wife, Mel Williams. Paulo and Williams have adopted 5 children, all of which were foster kids from the Milwaukee area. He went to make a lighthearted joke about him adopting yet another child, but the photo was so inspiring, it ended up on the police department's Facebook page, where it exploded. The photo of Officer Paulo with the toddler went viral, getting more than 4,000 likes and being shared over 2,000 times. People were happy to see a police officer go out of his way to make a bad situation a little bit better for the most vulnerable among us. We don't want recognition, said Paulo. It's just what we do because we're dads, we're people. We don't just do it because we're police officers and it's our job. Indeed, the officer made good use of his parenting skills to keep the toddler occupied while Resnick finished interviewing his mother. He was playing with my bracelet. My daughter made it for me and I always wear it to work, explained Paulo. I was trying to do anything I could to occupy him and kind of take his mind off what's going on. As parents, it's hard for both him and Resnick to encounter children in bad situations and know there's only so much they can do. It hurts my heart when I see children like this, Paulo continued. It's unfortunate, but we see this quite often. He wishes he could take home every child that needs help, although of course that's impossible. But the small gesture offered by him and Resnick to this homeless woman's son certainly goes a long way. Meanwhile, the boy no longer has to live in an abandoned home. The police called in social services to help with the young woman's case, and she's being assisted in the search for a new house. In the meantime, her 2-year-old has been placed in foster care. The people of Milwaukee are glad that they're being served by police officers who put compassion and humanity first while doing their job.